versus, in my opinion, the MVP of our league this year, and Steph.
Two former MVPs going head-to-head in the play-in. We will preview the matchup today on The Jump. And Chris Webber, Chris Bosh, Paul Pierce, all getting the call to the hall. We will give them their flowers shortly. About time, C-Web. And Kyrie went 50, 40, 90 on the season. Is this the best Kyrie Irving we've ever seen? So kick back, relax, grab a smoothie, do like James does. Enjoy The Jump. We're about to start now.
That's a big smoothie thing.
He's a tall guy.
Welcome to The Jump, presented by Dell.
Cereal out of like a...
Dude, I'm enjoying the music.
Yes.
It's got a very Disney park theme.
Esque. I just want to get this
here.
out of the way. The fact that you text me and Matt to wear hoodies and then you don't wear a hoodie. Like, I thought you were going to do a WNBA hoodie and we were all doing this thing.
Don't try to draw me into your twinsies thing going on here just because you showed up in what Matt wears all the time.
Yeah, this is stolen swag, 100%.
Right?
I was like,
don't try to get me involved. I have nothing to do with this.
That looks really, really comfortable, Matthew.
I know, but you do want to share with the people that Matt is fully dressed from shoulders to shoes, and you.
We'll do it later in the segment. I'll go in front of the court.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying you're going to have to see what else Richard is wearing now. That's a tease. Welcome to The Jump. I'm joined by NBA champions. I've got the co-host of All the Smoke podcast on that side, Matt Barnes, our 2016 champ who made 4 NBA Finals appearances, Richard Jefferson. We will get into a game of Can I Have a Word in just a moment. But first, all right, it's official. One of the most unusual regular seasons in the NBA's 75-year history is in the books, with the play-in game set to start tomorrow and the rest of the bracket in action starting this weekend. It's funny, there isn't really a nickname for the NBA playoffs the way there is with March Madness. No one calls what's about to happen the big dance. And yet, in this season's finishing kick, we still saw several teams trying to pick their partners.
That's trash.
Hey, you're serious, right?
In the East, the Bucks could have intentionally lost their recent regular season games versus Miami. That would have let them avoid a first-round playoff matchup with Jimmy Butler and the Heat, the team that, of course, upset them in the bubble last year. But instead, Giannis and company leaned into that smoke. And now will indeed face the Heat in the first round. Meanwhile, in the West, bit more complicated. For the first time in franchise history, the Jazz clinched the best overall record in the NBA, which in turn locked the Suns into the second seed. As for the 3 spot, well, just a few days ago, the Clippers appeared relatively set for that, which likely would have put them on either a first or second round collision course with the Lakers, and just in the generally tougher side of the West bracket. So what did the Clippers do? Well, friends, they spent this weekend losing to the Rockets and the Thunder, 2 teams that themselves have been tanking so hard that in order to pull this off, the Clippers last night had to sit Kawhi and Paul George and Marcus Morris and Rajon Rondo and DeMarcus Cousins and Nick Batum. Starting center Ivica Zubac wanted to keep his consecutive game streak alive, so Ty Lue let him for 6 seconds. He then sat the rest of the game. And hey, it worked. The Clippers are now officially the 4 seed. Although, as I said on the show a couple times last week, if I'm the Clippers, I would have wanted to play the Lakers in the first round when the crowds at Staples Center are still pretty limited. LeBron's still working his way back from that ankle injury. Sure enough, actually, we saw LeBron's ankle flare again last night. Watch this twist here in the fourth quarter against the Pels. LeBron did not return to the game after this, but afterward he said he will feel fine enough to play on Wednesday. He's going to be in that game when the Lakers will face, Steph Curry and the Warriors in that West play-in game. And speaking of, Steph just ridiculous again last night. He wrapped up his second career league scoring title with a 46-point performance in which he outscored the entire rest of the Warriors starting lineup altogether. Really, Steph is so hot right now that Wednesday night's game should be an absolute dogfight, with the winner sliding into the 7th seed and the loser getting another game to fight for 8th, which has some irony, because if it's the Lakers who end up sliding to 8, guess where they'd end up? Yep, on the Clippers side of the bracket. Turns out this pick your partner stuff can be dicey. No wonder we don't use the big dance nickname for the NBA. Instead, maybe we just refer to these next few months as survival of the fittest, because it's going to be a rumble, and I can't wait. And with all that, gentlemen, all of the machinations, can I have a word? This is our game where we give you topics. You describe them in one word. So I want to start with the play-in tournament in general. Remember, it was criticized by LeBron, Luka, Mark
I don't
Cuban,
remember which one was first.
others this season. I'm telling you, based on events just described from this weekend, the play-in delivered some great late-season drama. We've seen less resting late this season, teams fighting to stay out of that 7-10 range in each conference. So, Richard, can I have a word for the idea of the play-in tournament?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got, dang. Oh, yeah.
I know,
Here we
using
go.
a pen is complicated.
What? Oh,
There,
outstanding-ish. Outstanding-ish. That's why.
I don't know if that's a word.
It's not a word, but that's what makes it so much fun. It's outstanding because obviously it did what it was supposed to do. It got the teams in the bottom part a little bit more focused. And then after that, Golden State Lakers, I don't know. You don't fairly want those in the first couple.
Mine is from a fan's perspective, which I am now. Ooh, I'm ahead. Ooh,
There you
am I
go.
not?
Boom.
That's 2 words.
I mean, his 2 words are better than your 2 words.
Yeah.
At least his 2 words are real English. Yours are
I
like,
love it from a fan's perspective, but as a player's perspective, you heard players speak out on it. I've been a 7 or an 8 seed, and you bust your tail to get to that spot and think, okay, you can relax and then focus on your series. Now you got to worry about this play-in game, and this is a dangerous situation for the Lakers, particularly because Steph Curry is playing the best basketball of his career. Draymond is on point, and the Lakers are not healthy. So we will have to see what happens. But like I said, from a fan standpoint, which I am now, I love it.
well, I mean, look, in a way, though, it also can kind of give you a little more to play
Warm up.
for, right? Forget that. But look, whether it's losing in the first round, which not all, most 7 and 8 seeds do, or, hey, we made it to this part of the play-in. It's kind of an accomplishment if you're fighting in that bracket to make it to 7 or 8 versus 9 or 10. And then winning on Wednesday night. I think whoever wins, it will feel like an accomplishment. It'll feel like a big deal. Now, for the Lakers and Warriors, these are guys that have seen championships.
Right.
I don't think they're like, oh, my God, I want a play-in game. I'm not saying that. But for teams in general, in terms of this format, I think for, say, the Wizards, who were fighting on the East Side to just get in, if they can win a play-in game and get themselves...
Why did you mention the Wizards? This is
Well,
the issue
or the
with this.
Celtics. I
And
mean-
Matt remembers this when there were teams that were winning 50 games and not making it to the postseason,
Right.
49 games. So sometimes the 7 seed could be one of the best teams in the league. There could be a 3-game difference between 7 and 2, and it could go in a tiebreaker. So all of a sudden, the 7 seed, you were in potential of not making the postseason when you were a game and a half away from 2.
Right.
So that's
So you
where it
got
gets
these same-
that's where
Okay,
it gets a
that's fair.
little dicey in my opinion, because these teams and these conferences could be so loaded. So I think the 8 is where it should be, and then 7 should be safe, in my opinion.
Okay.
I just think, and we're talking about the Lakers. I mean, I think for the Lakers, although they don't want to be in it, I think this is going to be a possible 1 game, but possibly 2 to kind of get warmed up
Right.
before you go into that first round series, because they haven't had guys together. Guys have been hurt. So we'll talk about this more later, obviously. But as a player, I understand the frustration for sure.
I get that. I do want to get your guys' take on the Clippers. They made sure their players were rested this weekend, right? I
Our
mentioned
next
all
one.
the DMPs. I mean, come on, guys. Both games were lost, and I can't even do the rest of this intro. Look, can I have a word for the Clippers this weekend? Let's start with Matt.
Strategic.
Okay.
Which means a lot of different things. It means smart. It means rested. It means there's no excuses now. You're going to be rested. You're going to be focused on whoever you have to play. Whether people want to say they avoided the Lakers, that's, who really knows. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to line up a crash course for an all LA Western Conference finals. Hopefully, I think that's what everyone wants to see. So I just think it was very strategic on their part.
See, this is my thing. If I would have known somebody else was going to write our words, then I would have picked strategic. I just was never going to spell that, so I picked smart. So you're
How about strategery? 'Cause that
strategery.
could
That's
be-
no, because
Strategist.
Okay, look. At the
You
end of
just
the day,
made me drop
this
my
is-
pen in my. Look at this.
Look,
Well,
This
Richard's
is
mad
disgusting.
because they wrote our words early this time instead of letting us, because he drew happy faces
I had
last
to think.
time.
Look, at the end of the day, I think this is the right move. Teams have done this throughout history. I was one of the rare teams that was a 7 seed that beat a 2 seed before. So I like it. Look, Clippers would be a great matchup. To the Clippers, they're saying hey, we're not running from the Lakers, but we would much rather play them later. Give yourself some more time, whether it's Serge Ibaka, Rondo, give those guys more time to get acclimated to what they're doing. And yeah, the Lakers, if they're at their best, then they're going to have to beat them or go through someone that did.
I mean, look, I don't know the exact status of Kawhi Leonard's foot. So it's possible that this was
More time.
not so much about like, oh my God, we're so scared of the Lakers, and more about, hey, if we play the defending champions, we also want to be healthier. And that I understand. I do think, first of all, if the Lakers fall to 8th, which you guys just talked about how Steph Curry is, that could definitely happen, right? So if the Lakers fall to 8th, then they are back in the same side of the bracket, although not till the second round. I have just been saying